Welcome. Tonight we're sharing some truly terrifying stories, accounts of real-life encounters that happened in the dead of winter in some of the most isolated places you can imagine.
And these aren't ghost stories.
No. The threat here was chillingly real. It was physical. We're going to look at 3 separate incidents, all from ski or snowboarding trips, to understand just how quickly that sense of peace can be shattered.
It's a unique kind of vulnerability, isn't it? When you're that far away from everything, you assume you're safe. But that isolation can be exactly what a predator looks for.
Our first story takes us to Colorado. It starts with a very unsettling encounter on the slopes that escalates into a full-blown home invasion.
A classic case of how a public space can be used for private targeting.
Exactly. So you have a group of 4 friends, Angel, Amy, Jessica, and the narrator. They rent this big, beautiful 4-bedroom Airbnb in Snowmass near Aspen.
Right, so it's isolated, deck, hot tub, overlooking the countryside, the perfect getaway.
But also the perfect target profile. 4 women, temporary renters, easy to observe.
And that observation seems to have started almost immediately.
It did. The narrator is on the mountain, and she's struggling a bit on a blue run. She stops to catch her breath, and this man skis up to her.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He starts making this really awkward conversation. She just brushes him off, wants to be left alone.
Which is the first test. He's gauging her reaction, seeing how defensive she is. It's a predator testing the waters.
Well, it gets worse. She snowboards further down the mountain, and there he is again. He sits near her and says something that is just so deeply unsettling.
What did he say?
He comments on seeing pretty girls like her out there. But she's wearing a ski mask, a helmet. Her entire face is covered.
Oh, that's a huge red flag. It's not a compliment. It's a statement. I am watching you.
She feels it too. So she lies, says she's there with her boyfriend, and the man just laughs. He says he saw her arrive with all girls.
So he wasn't just watching her on the slopes.
No. He was watching them before that. Maybe when they arrived, maybe he followed their car. This wasn't a random encounter anymore. This was targeted surveillance.
And that's the terrifying part for anyone in a rental.
Yeah.
He didn't just see a person. He selected a group, identified their perceived vulnerability, and he tracked them.
She was so disturbed. She just snowboarded down the rest of the mountain faster than she ever had just to get away.
But of course, he already knew where she was staying.
He knew exactly where she was staying. So later that night, back at the Airbnb, everyone's asleep. The narrator, she has insomnia, so she's still awake after midnight.
Her insomnia might have saved them.
It absolutely did. She hears footsteps on the wood floors in the living room area. At first, she dismisses it.
As you would. The house settling, one of her friends getting water.
Right, you rationalize it.
Yeah.
But then she hears the doorknob to her locked bedroom start to twist.
And that's the moment. The perimeter has been breached. The threat is inside.
She quietly texts the group chat. No response. So she cautiously opens her door just a crack, and she sees him, a tall black silhouette of a man walking between the other girls' doors, trying their knobs.
Oh my God.
She slams her door, locks it, and whispers to a 911 operator. Then light knocks start on her door, the knob twists again, and when it doesn't open, he starts shoving his weight against the door, banging on it.
Aggressing.
So aggressively. She can't handle it anymore. She just screams, "Get out of here. I'm on the phone with 911 right now."
What happens?
The banging stops instantly, and a voice from the other side just says calmly, "Okay, sweetheart." Then she hears his footsteps retreating.
That phrase,
"Okay,
sweetheart," it's so chilling because it shows he wasn't panicked. This wasn't a desperate break-in. It was a calculated attempt that he just abandoned when it didn't work. He was in complete control even as he was leaving.
The police arrived 5, maybe 10 minutes later. He was gone. The women were convinced it was the man from the mountain. They left the next day, cut the trip short.
And you can't blame them. The safety of that place was just an illusion.
It completely disintegrated. Now let's shift to a different kind of threat. This one's from Oregon, near Mount Bachelor. This story deals with extreme isolation and an encounter with something that, well, it defies easy explanation.
Right. So the first story was a known human threat, which is terrifying in its own right. This next one, this moves into something else. Something that blurs the line between a physical threat and a psychological one.
So the narrator is alone. He's at his family's vacant cabin after his father had recently taken his own life. He's already in a very fragile emotional state.
And he's truly alone. Neighbors are a mile away through dense forest, just him and his dog, midnight.
He mentioned something his dad used to say, do not be scared of ghosts, fear the living because they can actually hurt you. That's kind of echoing in his head.
A grim bit of foreshadowing.
On day 3, it's been snowing heavily. He goes outside for a moment and sees these large, semi-fresh footprints in the snow around his cabin. They lead off into the deeper woods.
And his dog.
That night, the dog, Midnight, starts acting strange, pacing, runs downstairs and insists on going out. And once outside, the dog just sniffs around the side of the house and stares intensely into the darkness where those prints disappeared.
The animal instinct. Dogs don't rationalize. They just detect. They know when something is wrong.
Later, the narrator is trying to sleep and he hears a sound on the roof. He says it sounded like hooves, a series of 6 heavy steps spaced far apart, like a man's stride, but heavy.
Not a raccoon.
Definitely not a raccoon.
Okay.
So, trying to be tough, he goes out onto the second floor balcony to investigate. He looks up at the roof. The snow is completely untouched.
Which makes no sense.
None at all. But as his eyes adjust to the moonlight and the darkness, he sees it. About 20 feet away in a tree that's taller than the cabin itself.
What did he see?
He describes a figure 8 or 9 feet tall, he says, and really skinny. It was crouched, squatted on a branch, and its arms, he said they were freaking long white arms extended up, holding the branch above its head. And its mouth was just wide open, no expression, just open.
That's paralyzing. When a threat doesn't fit any known category, it's not a bear, it's not a person, your brain it short circuits. You don't know how to react.
He's completely frozen. His dog starts a low bark. He fights every urge to shine his flashlight on it. He just slowly backs inside and locks the door.
That's probably the smartest thing he could have done. Yeah. Don't engage, don't confirm you see it.
But it's not over. Later that night, a light, consistent tapping starts on the balcony's screen door. Tap, tap, tap. For almost an hour.
That's psychological warfare. It's coercive pressure.
He said he felt this strange compulsion to go and open the door, but his father's words kept repeating in his head, warning him to stay in bed, warning him about the living. He eventually passed out from sheer exhaustion and just left first thing in the morning.
A massive, silent, unidentified presence. That kind of fear is completely different from a human threat. It's primal.
It is. Which brings us to our final case. This one is from Vermont, and it's a terrifying example of protracted, methodical stalking.
This one is all about intimidation. It's not about theft or violence initially. It's about slowly violating a person's sense of safety.
The narrator and a girl, Melissa, are at his family's isolated property. It's on a steep, wooded hill. They're practicing snowboarding, and they hear a man's voice yell, "Hello!" from deep in the snowy woods. They look, see nothing.
The first probe. He's announcing his presence, but staying hidden, testing their reaction.
Later that night, they're by a fire pit, and they hear it again. Not a voice, but the sound of someone walking. The distinct crunch of shoes in the snow very close by. They call out, "Silence."
He's getting closer. He wants them to know he's there. He's circling.
The next morning, it escalates. The narrator looks out at their outdoor gear shed and sees breath. He sees vapor escaping from behind the open shed door.
Someone is in the shed.
He yells Melissa's name, but she answers from inside the house, so he shouts at the shed, "Yo, who's in my shed?" A few seconds later, someone dressed all in black runs out the back and disappears into the woods. Nothing was stolen.
See, the motive wasn't theft. It was trespass. It was a violation to say, I can get this close to you. I can enter your property whenever I want.
The climax comes that night. Around 3 a.m., they're woken up by a sound from outside. A long, drawn-out cry. "Help me!"
It's a lure, a classic predatory tactic. Using a cry for help to pull a victim out into the open, it plays on our most basic human impulse to help someone in distress.
Melissa is hysterical, the narrator. He cautiously peeks out a curtain. He can't see anything, so he cracks the window just an inch to locate the sound.
And that's the mistake.
It is. The second the window cracks, he hears it. Loud footsteps running through the snow straight for the window.
Oh, no.
He slams the window shut and locks it. And the footsteps stop right outside the glass. Then, a single distinct knock on the window pane.
That knock. That is the entire point. That says, I lured you in. I know you're right there. I'm in control. It's pure psychological terrorism.
They just stayed silent, terrified. They eventually fell asleep. And the next morning, the proof was everywhere.
The footprints.
Footprints circling the entire house. From window to door to window, they had been stalked relentlessly the entire time. They just packed up and left immediately.
So when you look at all three of these, the calculated intruder in Colorado, the paralyzing entity in Oregon, and this methodical stalker in Vermont, The common thread is the complete and total collapse of safety.
Yes. That feeling you get when you realize you are not alone in a place where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. In isolation, a threat only needs to defeat one door or one window or just your own mind. The signs were there in all three cases. The creep on the mountain, the prints in the snow, the voice from the woods. Those are the moments you have to act.
For you listening, the takeaway here is really about awareness. When you choose to be in an isolated place, you had to understand the unique risks that come with it.
And remember that sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't a ghost. It's the person who looks back at you from the other side of the glass, the one who is physically there.
Thank you for joining us for this unsettling deep dive. We hope it makes you think about your own surroundings and your own safety. If these true stories sent a chill down your spine, please remember to hit that like button, share this episode with those who love a good scare, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs, for more deep dives into the terrifying realities of our world. Good night, and stay safe out there.